Packing a wallop in terms of winds. The center of circulation to the south of Houma, Louisiana. Those winds will be changing from the southeast to the south shortly. Strong winds in New Orleans. There's been some damage in the French Quarter. Those winds have gusted to over 60 miles per hour this morning. And some of the wind gusts also have been to the 60 mile per hour category around both of the airports.
We've also been seeing some very strong winds and some of the rain affecting some of the outskirt areas too, like Gulfport, Mississippi, and this is where our Mike Siedel is. Mike, it looks like those winds have picked up since the last time we talked to you.
They have, and we've moved a little farther out here in the lot to get more exposed to the wind coming off the Gulf of Mexico. We've had gusts up just under 50 at 48 miles an hour at the airport just a few miles from here, and over at Keesler and Biloxi, they've had wind gusts of 44 miles an hour. We still haven't had a lot of rain. Last hour here, 0.17 of an inch. The concern here for the rest of the day, I need to put some more weight on, I think. The concern here for the rest of the day will be the severe weather threat, not the surge threat. There's the Gulf of Mexico. The water is making a run for Highway 90, but right now it's still ways off, and we're thinking at this point as the worst, as far as the pressure is starting to rise, we're not going to have to worry about water getting over the highway. The highway is about 7-8 feet above sea level. Let's go out to Titan radar. We do have a tornado warning. This is the one I just pulled off the wire from the National Weather Service. Again, the same counties being impacted. Those of you in central Escambia County, also east extreme western Santa Rosa County, east central Baldwin County. Again, that's the Pensacola-Mobile area. Look out around the Walnut Hill area. The next half an hour, storms are moving northwest at 56 miles an hour. So they're really racing. You can get a sense of why they're moving so fast because of the winds we're taking out here, unsheltered out here on the Gulf Coast here in Gulfport. Other thing is, notice the winds offshore. Some of the winds out there sustained at over 50 miles an hour. I also checked the Waveland buoy. Now, Waveland is off to our west, and all these areas had surges of upwards 20 to 25 feet with Katrina, but the buoy offshore from Waveland reporting sustained winds 48 miles an hour. And then there's an offshore buoy reporting 20.7 foot waves, so almost 21 foot seas offshore, and winds 40 gusting to 55. But what we have going for us here along the Mississippi coast, these barrier islands, for instance here in Gulfport, we have Ship Island, and that takes care of the breakers from coming in here at 15 to 20 feet. Right now they look like they're running at about 4 to 5 feet. So Marshall and Heather, this is what we're going to be dealing with, but once again, the bottom line, watch out for the threat of tornadoes here. We've got more bands that you see on Titan with some red and orange, some very heavy rain. Maybe some tornadoes will spin up, moving up here into Jefferson, Hancock counties, also over towards Mobile County as we continue with the warnings this morning being in Mobile and Pensacola. But checking the storm reports from the Storm Prediction Center, so far no reports of any tornadoes. The only thing we've had is that waterspout about a half a mile down the road. That was a little after 5 here local time. We didn't see it. It was rain wrapped and it was dark, but we had storm spotters and police report. And what it did is it did knock out the power briefly, but as far as we can tell, the power is still on here. Looking around, I can still see some lights on, so we're looking good from the power department right now. But we'll keep you updated here from Gulfport and Biloxi. A far cry from Katrina, but still we got to deal with this wind and the potential for some tornadoes throughout this afternoon and into this evening.
All right, Mike, thanks for that report. And also a tornado watch in effect until 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time, including where Mike Siedel reported from eastward, all along the coast of Louisiana.
We've got a long way to go with this hurricane. Let's turn it over now to Nicole Mitchell and get the latest.
And as we start off, Mike was talking about that tornadic threat for today. That is certainly going to be one of our areas of concern, and I don't think this one's going to advance for me. So let's get back to our Titan. And what we're going to see here is anywhere from probably about the Florida coast all the way through Mississippi. These storms come on land, and the ocean is fairly smooth. But once they come on land, they get that friction with the land. That is what helps. That rotation with the friction helps spawn off those tornadoes. So that is one threat that we are worried about today. You can see the heavy areas of rain, some of those isolated spots up to 1.5 feet. So flooding concern just from the rain itself. south, but also these storms well up the water, push that on land too, and then that means we could have the surge threat. And in some cases, we've already seen those water rises as much as 9 feet in a couple isolated areas, but right near the core of this storm, 12, 13 feet, not out of the question, and then less as you get away from that. But so the inland flooding, definitely a big concern. That's where we usually lose a lot of lives, unfortunately. This has nudged down to a Category 2, just diminishing slightly. So the difference between a weak Category 3, a strong Category 2, only 5 miles per hour. Still, this will continue to diminish as it moves its way over land, and those wind intensities will go down as it gets cut off from the water. In the meantime, I was talking about some of those waves, and you can see a few of the waves out here, but something else that we need to be aware of. So this is not a beach day along the Gulf Coast. I'm pretty sure you already knew that. As it continues inland over the next 24 hours, we are going to watch it move into parts of Louisiana. Eventually, over the next couple days, a little bit more into Texas. So we'll still have that tornadic threat as this goes inland. And then for pretty much a lot of the state of Louisiana, almost all of this state, we are going to have that concern with the flooding. So Lafayette, for example, you're going to want to watch for that. A lot of these areas have been drought areas recently, but still a huge concern that all of this rain coming so quickly out here. Otherwise, as we continue off for the next couple of days, we still have those other areas that we're watching. One coming off of Africa, one that could be a depression already later today here in the mid-Atlantic, and 2 areas with possible development. And then we also have that next tropical system. So we've got the East Coast starting to prepare too, while we're also watching the Gulf Coast. Heather and Marshall?
All right.